What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So we just got some new Zark support, and as all of you guys may already know, the deck isn't really playable as a pure deck, so obviously this just means more generic Pendulum support. In a way, if we can actually use some of these cards as, splashable cards in any random Pendulum deck, like Endymion, Magician, whatever. And that also means that Astrograph Sorcerer might come back to 3, because Astrograph Sorcerer is a Zark card. It's not just like a random magician that Pendulum Magician used to play. It's way more than that. And of course, with Astrograph back to 3, maybe, just maybe Electrum back to 1. But yeah, today I'll try to review all these new cards and try to figure out if they can really be playable competitively speaking or not. But before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. You already know the drill. Thank you very much. And now let's get right into it. Actually, before we review any of these new cards, I just want to actually clarify something that I've said yesterday. So well, not really clarify because I didn't really cover it, but I made a shorts concerning Royal Magical Library, Butterfly Dagger Elma, and Gear Free the Iron Knight, and I said that, that was the combo that people used to do in order to draw a bunch of cards. There was also like another card that would actually get to like infinite attack, because every single time you activate a spell, you get a spell counter and then it gains like 300 attack or something, but it's a level 5 monster, so it's obviously not really good. Royal Magical Library being a normal summon is much better. Well, I mean, a level 4 normal summon. Royal Magical Library potentially being the best card to draw, to ban in this situation. Some people said that Butterfly Dagger Elma would still be the #1 culprit, but some other people also said that the real combo was Woodland Sprite with Butterfly Dagger Elma, but that is actually not a legal combo, because Woodland Sprite makes you send the equipped spell from the field to the grave in order to burn 500, and Butterfly Dagger Elma can only recycle itself back when it gets destroyed. So yeah, this is an official ruling that was even issued by Upper Deck Entertainment, so I actually did double check, and it was still legal back in 2004 when people were indeed using, Butterfly Dagger Elma to kill people. So yeah, definitely nothing new. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, the card could definitely straight up just get unbanned right now because it honestly sucks. But anyways, back to the real, topic of this video. So the first card is Supreme King Gate Magician. Oh my god, the name is already so relevant. It's both a Supreme King Gate monster, so searchable by Darkworm, but also a Magician monster. And it's a spellcaster, Pendulum, 2500 attack, level 7. Everything about this card's typing is already so good. And of course, because of how simple the name is, it's one of those very few cards that will not get a name change in the TCG. At Pendulum effect, you can only use the second Pendulum effect to discard once per turn. Supreme King Gate's Zark you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. So this is to supplement its already existing effect even more, because it cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So imagine the fact that it also can't be banished. Not too bad, right? During your main phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place one Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your hand or deck in your Pendulum zone, except itself. So either the small donut or the big bagel. That's how I call them. Anyways, monster effect, you can only use both effects once per turn. If you have a Supreme King Gate other than itself in your Pendulum zone, you can send one Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon. Everybody knows Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, that is one of them. Or Fusion Dragon, monster from your hand or extra deck to the grave. Fantastic. So you don't have to commit to anything in your main deck. And if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Okay, not bad. So I guess it's a free special summon in a way, which is already, pretty decent. If this card is special summoned, you can add one card that mentions Supreme King Zark from your deck to your hand, except a spellcaster monster, which is pretty funny. But it doesn't matter, because you can actually search a card that can get you to a spellcaster monster anyways, or any other monster for that matter that, of course, mentions Supreme King Gate Zark or something. So that's actually really nice, and of course, we have some new support cards for the archetype, so, well, for the baby archetype, so that's really, really cool. And by the way, in case you didn't know who Supreme King Zark is, it's the main antagonist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, and it's a giant boss monster as well. So the monster itself is literally the antagonist, being piloted by, I'm not gonna spoil it. Anyway, Supreme King Dragon Lightwurm, Dragon Pendulum Tuner effect. Whoa, interesting. It's a tuner, level 4. Okay. You can only use the Pendulum effect of this card once per turn if a monster is special summoned, and you control Supreme King Zark and another Pendulum monster. Oh, that's too much to ask. You can special summon this card, then you can choose one other Pendulum monster you control. The attribute and level of that monster or this card's becomes the attribute and level of the other. Not the best. Okay, that's really irrelevant. The Pendulum effect is kind of bad. Monster effect, you can only use the first and second effect of this card's once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one face-up Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon or special summon Xyz summon one Supreme Dragon King monster. So if you can summon this card on your opponent's turn, you can synchro summon the Supreme King something dragon, whatever. That's basically a Regeki on summon. So that's actually not too bad if you can find a way to summon it on your opponent's turn, of course. Otherwise, this effect is irrelevant. And if it, well, I mean, at least this part of the effect, but the recycling part of the effect is still pretty decent. And if a face-up Pendulum monster is destroyed by battle by card effect while this card is face-up in your extra deck, you can add this card to your hand. That is actually quite absurd, because if you're playing maybe, let's say, like a Metal Foes, you just keep destroying cards over and over. And this has an effect that might work really well with Electrum if we can get it back. I don't know, this definitely smells like Electrum coming back for sure, because otherwise nobody's gonna really play these new cards, honestly. But yeah, so far we have two really good cards. I mean, this card is just incredible. Just does so much, so easily searchable. The typing is gonna matter, I can promise you that. And even this card, at the moment, it's not really good, but it definitely can be good in the future. Alright, and now we have another interesting card. Supreme Celestial King Odd Eyes Archray Dragon. It looks like the light and nice version of Zark, because Zark is evil. Level 12, skill 13, gigantic, ridiculous stats. Oh my god. Pendulum effect, you can only use the pendulum effect of this card's once per turn. If you have 2 cards in your pendulum zone, you can special summon this card. Then you can shuffle 1 card from your pendulum zone into the deck. I love this part. Then if returned to your extra deck, you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. That is actually quite unique. You can cheat out some pretty nasty cards with that. If your other skill is like a pendulum monster that is also like another typing, like Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, etc., you can cheat it out straight up. So it's hard to get it there, but there's a new card that actually facilitates that, and we're going to take a look at it very soon. But this is not too bad, but again, how do you get this card in the Pendulum scale? That's the real question, because just summoning this card already looks really hard, especially if you're actually trying to summon this card using this. Good luck getting there. 4 dragon monsters, so 1 fusion, 1 synchro, 1 Xyz, and 1 pendulum. I guess you can maybe potentially super poly into this, but that's obviously not how you're really going to be summoning this. This card is always treated as Supreme King Zark. This face down card in the extra deck must first either be fusion summoned, or, haha, this is where it gets nice, or special summoned by tributing 1 level 12 Dark Supreme King Zark. And again, it's kind of easy to summon Supreme King Zark, because there are a lot of Shadal Fusion-esque cards that allow you to just, you know, banish the materials from your hand, deck, extra deck, whatever. So it's actually not too bad. And then if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can place 1 pendulum monster from your deck in your pendulum zone. I guess you can easily put cards like, I don't know, Monkey Board and stuff like that. Hold on, actually, is Monkey Board on activation that you get to search, or it's just like once per turn? I really just have to double check. It might be like once per turn the turn you activate it, so not necessarily right away. Yeah, actually, so it's not gonna miss timing if you place it that way. Not too bad. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your pendulum zone. And the Pendulum effect is actually pretty cool, so not too bad, not too bad. Okay, cool. Pendulum Evolution, continuous spell. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's once per turn. You can shuffle 1 Pendulum monster from your hand into the deck, add 1 Pendulum monster with 2500 attack, and a different name from your deck to your hand. We don't necessarily have the best, you know, targets for that, but we do have, like, the Odd Eyes monsters, I mean, the new monster, some other kind of garbage card. Actually, we have Astrograph Sorcerer. That's broken. Not bad. I'll take that any day of the week. If you special summon a face down Pendulum monster from your extra deck this turn, so again, a Pendulum monster that's not just a Pendulum monster, like an Xyz Pendulum, Synchro Pendulum, Fusion Pendulum, etc. Otherwise, it's always going to be face up. You can activate this effect immediately after it resolves Pendulum summoning monsters. That is insane in Metal Foes, because you can actually special summon the Fusion Pendulum monster and then get an extra Pendulum summon right away. And that deck can easily turbo out like Celine or Appaloosa, so that you can revive back 3 Pendulum monsters directly from your extra deck and then just keep fusing even more. So that's really good. And Astrograph is broken in that deck, so being able to search Astrograph and just keep on searching more Metal Foes each time you keep destroying your Metal Foes is fantastic. So both of these effects are already fantastic if we have either a consistent way of searching it and destroying your cards, or if we have like Electrum, because that's just the cheat to everything. Electrum just makes every single card in a Pendulum deck searchable. It's ridiculous. Beyond the Pendulum also kind of does it, but in a worse way. Way worse. And also, it doesn't really destroy your cards unless you're really trying to destroy your cards after. mean, look, beyond the Pendulum is Electrum. It's basically Electrum at home. Anyways, you can target one Supreme King Zark you control. It can attack all opponent's monster once each this turn. I mean, no, that's not really good. Alright, the Lightwurm Dragon. Quick play spell. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. During the main phase, add one Supreme King Dragon, so in other words, Darkwurm, or Supreme King Gate, Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, or if you control Zark, you can special summon it instead. So if you control Zark, you can special summon this little boy right here directly from your deck, and then recycle back a card, and then synchro summon for the Regeki, and then destroy a bunch of cards your opponent controls. So that's actually not too bad. It is once per turn though, and you can only use it during the main phase, so you cannot dodge Droll and Logbird with this card, which kind of sucks. It's a little sussy, I don't understand why. And you also can't dodge Anti-Spell Fragrance with it, so another weird card. You know, usually when you see quick play spell cards, you see a card that can be really flexible, but just one of those cards that for some reason isn't. It's not the end of the world though, not too bad. Alright, Miracle of the Supreme King, normal trap. If you control Zark, you activate one of these effects. Controlling Zark is the hard part, so if you can activate a card like this, you're probably already winning the game. But, you know, you gotta put yourself in a position where you can even activate the card in the first place. Destroy one Zark you control. If you do, special summon one Odd Eyes Pendulum monster or one Light Zark from your deck or extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Okay, that's actually kinda... Odd Eyes Pendulum monster. Why would you destroy Zark just to summon an Odd Eyes Pendulum monster? That's dog shit. And then summoning a Zark is also pretty bad because, well, the Light Zark, because the Light Zark can already be summoned by getting rid of your normal Zark, so that's just pathetic. Like, unless I'm missing something, this first effect just looks like garbage. Anyways, place one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum zone, which is also pretty bad. Set one quick play spell directly from your deck. I love how it's any quick play spells, like literally any. Could be Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse. I mean, if you're really trying to use this card only when you have Zark just to place a quick play spell directly from your deck, it's pretty bad. I think this card is probably the weakest card I reviewed so far, and this might actually be the best card. Soul of the Supreme Celestial King. Oh my god, this is literally just a remake of a card that already exists, because even the name is pretty much the same thing. It's Soul of the Supreme King, and this is Soul of the Supreme Celestial King. Normal trap, you can only activate one card with this card's name. Tribute one spellcaster Pendulum monster with 2500 original attack. And, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, but also it searches the damn card, so it fully sets you up. Anyways, fusion summon one Zark from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, deck, extra deck, field, and or graveyard, but its effects are negated unless at least one each of your Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon monsters are currently banished, and you're always going to be banishing 4 of them from your extra deck typically. I mean, you can definitely banish them from your deck, right? Pendulum Dragon, I think Double Iris is considered a Pendulum Dragon. Like, you really don't have to commit to some weird cards in order to use this effect, so this is actually really crazy. Hold on, is Purple Poison? My memory's really bad. Is it like Fusion Dragon or something like that? Yeah, oh my god, dude, I'm so good! You know, all the old magicians that people used to play in the good deck, they're all pretty much, you know, a substitute for any of these cards because they're always treated as one of these kind of monsters. So that's really nice. You don't have to commit to like a lot of garbage cards in your extra deck. This card is searchable by a card that you're always going to be searching in your deck anyways. And summoning Zark on your opponent's turn is absolutely terrifying. When this card is summoned, you can destroy every card your opponent controls. That is really scary. Like, really, really terrifying. And to make matters worse, if, you know, Zark gets destroyed, good luck destroying it. It's basically a mistake. Every time your opponent searches a card, you get to destroy that card right away. So you can still search, but it's just gonna die. It can't, like I said, be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And with that first skill, I think it gets protection from being banished as well. So many crazy effects. Like, Zark is so good when it's not negated, but the old Soul of the Supreme King unfortunately did negate the effect. This one, on the other hand, doesn't, as long as you have, you know, the appropriate cards. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this card. It's like a straight up like 9.5 out of 10 for me. So incredibly good. The fact that it's easily searchable because it mentions Zark, and all you need is like a Spellcaster Pendulum with 2500 attack. And this one, Spellcaster Pendulum with 2500 attack, add a card that mentions Zark from your deck to your hand. Oh my god, it's just absolutely beautiful. And special summoning this card is a joke. It even has an effect that summons itself, so you're always going to be able to trigger that. You can again search it relatively easily because it is a Supreme King Gate and a Magician monster. Oh my god, I'm just so looking forward to playing with these new cards. They look absolutely insane and honestly really scary. And if we get back 3 Astrograph and 1 Electrum, I can guarantee you that I can guarantee this deck is going to be like top tier. It's funny because Pendulums have, you know, the potential to be like tier 0, actually out of nowhere, if Konami really wants them to, because they have been tier 0 in the past several times. We had like Pepe, Perform Mage, Perform a Pal. We've had, you know, the Pendulum FTK. We've had, you know, Adderall. We had True Draco Metal Foes, how I lost my virginity with my first YCS top. I'll never forget that in 2018. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I just love Pendulums, man. Who doesn't? But yeah, if you really like Pendulums, I want to see you smash the like button and comment Pend Best Deck in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.